Be willing
Sorry a second.
be willing to go in on a deal where you get these 4 hours, but once the challenge starts, I get free coaching, um, but you are compensated with a $3,000 payout if I win the challenge. So
We'll have to
the reason
talk
I'm
about
asking,
that.
the
Yeah,
reason I'm
so
asking, I want you to have some stake in the outcome of the challenge, and I think that would be reasonable compensation for continued coaching throughout the challenge. Would you be open to that?
uh sure. So how many hours do you want? And then during the challenge?
So during the challenge is when I'm expecting the the most work for you to do in terms of I will send you all the hands I play. You don't have to like go through each one of them, but I need you to go through Brandon's stats. I need you to essentially do a lot of the exploit digging because I'm going to be doing a lot of the playing, and 4 hours of heads up every day is pretty mentally draining. So I would need someone who's a lot fresher and a lot more creative to be able to, um, while I'm like recovering, to be able to come up with, okay, a new game plan. This is what Brandon's doing. This is where we can exploit him, and just coming up with ideas there. Probably, a half hour, 45 minutes per day, or even like every other day, just to.
Yeah, sure. So in terms of like digging through all the hands, that's probably appropriate. If you want me to dig through all the hands and then we'll uh set up compensation as a result of my time digging through the hands. But then like the recorded coaching sessions I also want to charge for. You got what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
So like me digging through the hands, I'll do it for whatever compensation you want to, peg to the challenge,
All right,
to the result of
great.
the challenge, and
All right.
then
Well, if I'm going to continue paying for the online coaching, I'm going to drop it down to 2,000 if I win. So
yep,
you help me
sure,
out with that. I win the challenge. You get $2,000 bonus, essentially.
yep, that sounds good.
All right.
And I'll
That's all.
spend plenty of time looking through the hands, helping you as much as possible, um, off off the tables, and then when we're having these one-on-one sessions that are recorded,
Mm-hmm.
you'll pay for them as usual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds good. I had a list of questions somewhere in here. Uh, Mostly to do with Munker. So I'll share my screen. We can get into that.
Yeah, sorry, let me just stop that. Let me allow you to do that.
So
Okay,
is there a way
try
I
now.
can?
Yeah, try now.
There we go. There we go. All right. So is there a way that I can, number one, view these in the traditional sense, where it's like you have the combo and then you have like 25% red and then 50% green and then 25% orange, and that's like all of the actions, as opposed to this view where it's just the range that's shaded in, only one action. Like, how would I?
Yeah, no, unfortunately you can't. I mean, you can open up multiple ranges at the same time. You can also change the sort by to from probability to EV. So if you
Okay.
close that, you change
Yeah, I
sort by
just
probability to EV, and then you press the 0% button. Yeah. That'll show up all the combos, and then you can have because it'll rank it by EV, all the combos essentially will show up the same.
Okay. Is there any way I can transfer the range files that I get from Munker? Say I run a pre-flop sim during the challenge, and I want to run a couple boards post flop in Pio. Is there a way I can do that?
Yep. So open up one of the ranges you want.
All right. Give me a sec. There we go. So I need to get this range into Pio for running a sim with limped pots.
Yeah, and then press save. Copy to clipboard. Actually, yeah, it's got Pio there already. Copy to clipboard, and then you should be able to just paste it into Pio.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Great. Is Munker does Munker have post flop capabilities, or just is it like primarily a pre flop solver?
Yeah, it's got post flop capabilities as well. In fact, if you wanted to, you could probably, you know, let me see if I can estimate it for you. I could probably run like a pre-flop flop estimate, and then have the turn river abstracted, so it gives you highly accurate pre-flop and flop strategy rather than just pre-flop. Let me see if I can figure it out. How much RAM that takes. Should take about an order of magnitude more, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean, now that I know how to like copy and paste the ranges into Pio, I'll probably just use Pio because I'm familiar with the software. That would be a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, I could if you want. When does the challenge start?
March 1st, so we have about like just under 2 weeks now. It's getting pretty
Yeah,
close.
okay. I'll tell you what. If you like using the two pre-flop ones I gave you, I'll I'll try rerun some of them on some of my machines with both the pre-flop and the flop strategy correct, because
Mhm.
there's usually a small loss between pre-flop and flop. The issue, of course, is and this will probably like maybe help with some of the strategies. I mean, there's usually a small loss between going from pre-flop to flop. Uh,
A small loss. Why is that?
in terms of how accurate the strategy is.
Oh, okay.
Um,
There's just a loss in accuracy.
yeah, also a loss in accuracy that you can't make up for. Like that is as a direct result for just copying the ranges over rather than copying just the EVs.
Mm.
It's a bit of a weird thing. It's not that big because going from pre-flop to flop is very random. But there is a small loss there. So what you could do, I mean, what you could do hypothetically, like, is if you wanted to just like thump the guy, is um just let Monka create your entire flop strategy for you, like pre-flop and flop strategy, and then let's like RTA the guy into the ground, going from pre-flop to flop. Uh, that's the issue, right? Because like the heads up, you can solve it relatively easily. that it's possible to create a preflop and flop RTA and then just
If you're
estimate.
any good, you can just play the turn and river without RTA
Yeah.
and fine. Yeah. The one thing I do see value in you running the flop sims is essentially entirely for aggregate reports, because if I get aggregate reports of the flops and how the aggregate reports differ from the different pre-flop sizes that are used, I will be able to better identify heuristics on how to alter my strategy based on my open size and just how much it should change from sizing to sizing hands. Does Munker allow for aggregate reports, and is that something that you can do?
I don't think so. I don't think you can pull any kind of report out, but honestly.
Okay.
Hang on, let me try. Another thing is like another thing you could do is just like use the Munker preflop and flop to just get a quick estimate, or like use it as like a pre-trained estimate of the flop strategy, so that you have some idea going in what's going on, and then that way you will have an advantage, because like even if you run basically all of your flops, turns, rivers from every possible situation, which also probably isn't too hard to do because the game tree is so small. You'll end up being okay. I think my computer's struggling. It's just loading the strategy in. All right. Does that make sense to you? Like in terms of what I'm suggesting that you.
In terms of what you're suggesting I do,
Like, I mean, if I run it, it gives you a fairly accurate pre-flop to flop, pre-flop and flop strategy. Like using it as an RTA by itself will just crush the guy. If he doesn't change his sizes, because you'll have exactly the correct pre-flop and flop strategy for the sizes that he's using. And then even if you don't want to use it as an RTA and you just want to study it beforehand, it'll give you a lot of ideas about how to play the different flops without having to go and rerun all 177 or 1755 flops for every spot yourself in Pio to full accuracy to get the flop strategies.
I feel like I'm gonna be pretty okay in terms of post flop play. Like I've already I already have like a very good grasp of 2.5x opens. And like once I just get like a general idea of how the game tree changes between 2.1 and 2.7 and limping, I think I'm going to be generally okay on that front. Still trying to memorize the pre-flop stuff, which is pretty difficult, but I think I'll manage by the time the challenge rolls around. I think I should have a lot of the frequencies down like pretty well. But beyond that, I think.
So you can see my screen, yeah?
Sec. I think most of the use that we're going to get out of Munker is going to be not see your screen.
Sorry, just unshare your screen.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think most of the value I'm going to get out of Munker Solver is going to be once the challenge starts and I can start running and receiving Munker ranges from you.
Yeah.
We can run the exploitative sims.
So yeah, so you just sort by EV, like equity graph or whatever, which is a bit whatever. It's 0 view default. Yeah. So for example, you want to look at the pre-flop calls. You get call check, and I haven't. You don't have this one in the when I send you because the accuracy of the flop is like really low when you do this. Sorry. Yeah. While it's and I haven't saved it either, so like it's generating the stuff on the fly. So it's pulling this information up from the calculation on the fly. So basically, like you can see here that our position checks 97% hands on the king 8-5 check, and these are the sizes that the limp in your limp pot you would use. Like you're checking back a significant amount as well. That's partly because like your range is very weak, and you can click on it, right click on it. If it'll work. Yeah, there you go. To pull up, and you go for strategy to range, right? So it is like it's the same. It's just very different to view, right?
Yeah,
so it's not going to be as
UI
good.
seems
55% call, same flop, check. You have the frequencies, and like if the main thing that you want to look at is the flop frequencies and the flop strategy, right? In terms of which sort of pairs and stuff to be betting and which size, and that's all you really need, except you just need it with higher accuracy, because all of these are just going to be 100% or 0, because of the way that it's on these. Yeah, and it's not going to have an EV on the flop either. So what I'll do is I'll rerun it so that it has the flop strategy and the flop EV conserved, and then it should have a better, a fairly accurate flop strategy as well.
Okay, so essentially what you're saying is you're going to are you going to
run
send
these
me like
run these two exploits. The issue is that maybe it'll be no, it shouldn't be that big. How much RAM does the computer have?
64 gigabytes, I believe.
Yeah, it should be able to fit in that. It's just it'll end up being very big. Like it won't end up being like the 1 gigabyte thing that I sent you for the preflop. It'll be the preflop plus the flop, which is an order of magnitude larger.
Yeah, exactly.
So it'll probably fit one of them at a time, maybe both of them, but definitely one of them. So then you can look at the preflop and
so
flop.
let me get this straight. You are going like this is for once the challenge starts, we start running these exploit sims, and then you are going to be able to send me the exploit sim not just with the pre-flop adjustments, but also with the post-flop adjustments.
No, I can do it in a week. I can run this in a week and send it to you next
And
weekend.
so this will just be like essentially. So next weekend I would get these. I would study them.
I mean, you can use the current preflop ranges and chuck it into Pio and get a good in-depth look at some of the spots that you want to look at, and then you can use this other thing which I'm going to build for you to get basically the instant result for the flop. But the turn and river aren't going to be accurate, so you just ignore them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So like you can run the sims in Pio, and then because Pio has accuracy on both flop, turn, and river, but not pre-flop, you'll have good flop, turn, and river accuracy by running the Pio simulation on the select flops that you want to look at to study in depth.
Yeah.
And then this thing will help you with pre-flop to flop transitions.
And this will be like all the flops as opposed to just
this will be every flop in every situation.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. Sounds great. All right.
So I'll just rerun it with the same size that I sent you.
That sounds good. I think that's everything. Is there anything you wanted to go over besides that?
I don't think so. In terms of what you've been studying, so you've been studying the preflop stuff here, and have you ran any of the simulations for postflop?
Truth be told, I'm still working on memorizing the small blind open strategy and small blind limp strategy. I haven't I've done a quick refresher like 2 days ago on 3-bet pot stuff that I already knew about essentially. But like the bulk of my time over the next like 2 or 3 days is probably going to be spent like studying and attempting to memorize the pre-flop strategies that I just got sent. So
yeah, that'll be good. So you should try. Obviously, you should try to remember your position. Like if you're slightly off with what the range that Monka thinks he has, it doesn't matter too much. But definitely remember your position. So if you're equal small blind, just remember all the small blind stuff. Because this is just Monka's best guess at how to beat this small blind strategy. And obviously it's going to end up being better than that. So Brown is obviously always going to have a worse counter strategy than Monka does in this particular tree. So if Brown is using the same sizes, then he can't do any better than Monka does against you. So yeah, definitely go through and try to remember all this small blind stuff. And I'm sure once you guys start, he'll be a bit surprised at what you're doing, because you're having this split open strategy and split 3-bet strategy, split 4-bet strategy. And you probably will have to figure things out. And you'll sort of be one step ahead of him. At least we think that's going to be the case.
I haven't really told anyone. I haven't even told people that you're coaching me. So because I have told just random people in chat that I'm being coached, but I haven't told anyone whom it is. I know if I tell them it's you, that they'll think like if word gets to Brandon, he's going to be like, yeah, he's probably going to be splitting. So I have been keeping like the intricacies of the strategy close to my chest. I don't think I've said anything to anyone about the strategy.
Yeah, don't say anything to anybody. The quieter you keep it, the better. Because then it will sort of look a bit random.
But I'm pretty confident. I think he's going to be a bit taken aback, and hopefully, like I'm looking to just play out the first week without any days off, like 5 days straight, 4 hours a day, and hopefully he is not able to figure out a good counter within that time period. So we'll have like a full week of maximally having the maximum edge possible over the first week, probably. And then I'll have you behind the scenes after each session looking through the hands and trying to figure out post flop exploits, which like we haven't. We're just talking about pre-flop right now because that's going off really the only information that we have. But once we get post-flop stuff, I expect there to be a lot more ways that we can increase the edge beyond just like playing a GTO strategy.
Yeah, exactly. And there'll also be, and this is something that people don't fully appreciate, is that if you have sufficient post flop, information about how your opponent plays post flop and somewhat pre flop, then you can combine the two together and create a pre flop strategy which does even better than just post flop alone or pre flop
Yeah,
alone.
yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, if he's extremely aggressive post flop, which judging by his graph, it doesn't seem like he's super aggressive post flop, but like if he comes out and he's just like, you know, his barrel frequency is like 70% per street, then we can like tighten up significantly pre-flop and start crushing him with just a really strong range.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I think we'll call this half an hour. Not waste so much time. I don't think we've got too much else to discuss. You know what you need to do. I know what I'm going to do. And look, if you send me like a message that you want coaching or whatever the day before, like just like half an hour. Um, during the week, probably UTC like 2300. So like 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours earlier than the current point in time.
Oh yeah, that
Is
that
is good
works.
for me. And then during the weekend, sort of UTC 2 or 300 is better for me. So we could probably organize that. So yeah, just send me a message and then I'll try to get back to you and we'll set it up for the day after. So if you give me, 20, at least 20 hours, I'll try and fit you in to my day.
All right. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
awesome. All right, I'll send you this recording. I'll start those calculations running. And if you have any questions, just send me a message.
Bet. Have a good night, man.
See ya.